Today in the crypto space, we see the market kind of going sideways. Bitcoin right around 67,500 and Ethereum right around $2,600. Yes, down approximately 1.5%. But the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are a mix of green and red. We have a few gainers, we have a few dips, pretty much neutral throughout the market. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that is looking pretty good, and it's definitely getting a bullish catalyst. That project is called AVAX. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. The overall market cap remains pretty steady. Yes, it is down approximately 1.6%. It's not a big deal. Reality is we're still at about $2.4 trillion, which is great. Ultimately, still making a higher low. Even if we get a bounce right now, it's still a higher low. Do we go up for another higher high? Trading volume is coming down as the market cap is falling. What does that mean, guys? That means that market participation is dying out here. Not a lot of people are believing in this dip, right? In market cap, which means a dip in the space as a whole. So it's not bad of a scenario, particularly if we do see a volume spike, but also see a market cap spike as well, going up for a higher high. That's basically what we want here to remain bullish in this market. But, you know, Bitcoin getting rejected where it's at obviously does pose a little bit of negativity, a bit of bearishness. And of course, we'll talk about Bitcoin just to use it as a leading indicator, because you guys know if Bitcoin continues coming down, the altcoins are going to continue coming down as well, and probably a lot harder than Bitcoin. And then after, we'll take a look at it, AVAX, Avalanche. Obviously, such a great project, definitely one of the top dogs in layer ones, but more importantly, it is getting a really interesting catalyst in the news lately, and we'll definitely talk about that. Bitcoin, what is it doing? Pretty much flagging out here at the bottom, guys. It does look like a potential bear flag, but it is at previous bottoms. So I've been tracking this on the 1 hour, guys. I've been tracking on this on the one hour because I am seeing a class A bullish divergence on the 1 hour on Bitcoin within this little structure. And based on the fact that Bitcoin only got one touch on its diagonal resistance, it leads me to believe that it's possible that we get another touch, or at least another bullish response to confirm some sort of divergence or something like that on the daily. Obviously, we'll take a look at the chart. Ethereum dipping down a little bit more aggressively than Bitcoin. Of course, dominance should be right now in Bitcoin's favor, and we do see BNB coming down. Solana is still looking strong, really strong. In fact, 1% in comparison to the rest of the market, it's looking really strong. Still making higher highs and higher lows, grinding to the upside, which is good. What else do we have here? Tron getting a nice bounce. Now, Tron usually gets some action when we see stable coin transactions happen, right? So what does this tell you? You know, are we getting some transactions on stables, on USDT type of thing? It could be an indicator. Obviously, just keep an eye on it. As we keep on coming down, we see Cardano slow grind to the upside, a few dips across the market. Nothing major because we're not making lower lows. For example, Chainlink is still doing good, making higher highs and higher lows, up 2.5%. Uniswap, another good move to the upside, looking good for the Ethereum-based projects. And as we keep on rolling down, we do see some dips. Sui, for example, Sui down 5% at the current moment, guys. Remember, Sui came from a very strong move to the upside. So people are still really in profit. However, a 5% dip, it's not bad. It's not bad. Now, you guys know that I get excited on double-digit dips. This is what I want. I want double digits, at least 10, at best. On average, I look for about 20%. If I can get a 20% discount, I'm deploying. At this moment, I'm not really that interested, to be honest, right? Because I bought at much lower levels than this, and a 5% dip is nothing. And ultimately, I'm looking for bottom of the range type of price action. Sui's not at the bottom of the range, and neither is Aptos, even though Aptos did get a bit of a rejection. The reality is Aptos is not only up for the day, but it's up significantly since its previous bottom. So we have to understand that Sui and Aptos are doing great, even though they're getting a bit of negativity, and Aptos is not even really. Litecoin rolling over. We have Caspa waking up. Caspa's looking good. Remember, the last few days we've been talking about it on the live stream. It was looking good for holding that support level. Taking a bit of risk is, calculated risk is ideal at those levels. Caspa's doing pretty good today. And as we keep on coming down, guys, we see a little bit of red, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of lower low, even with dog with hat. Not a good look. But we are desperate here to hold support. For example, if you look at Optimism, it's quite desperate here at these bottoms. If you look at Render, quite desperate here at these bottoms. And this kind of reflects what Bitcoin is doing, because Bitcoin is quite desperate at its current bottom in relation to the 1 hour chart. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Runa is looking okay, top of the range, maybe looking for a breakout. We have Popcat looking good, of course, Jupe doing awesome, and many other altcoins doing great as well. Just got to keep in mind that the market currently is a mix of green and red, fairly neutral, some dips, some rallies, and this is the case, guys. Stay neutral. When the market is neutral, stay neutral. Invest in yourself, do some deep dive research, trade on lower time frames, get in, get out of the market, and you should be fine. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. Before we look at the Avalanche chart, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin at the end of the day is still at its level where we left it yesterday, and ultimately we question, do we see Bitcoin coming down to much lower levels, or do we see Bitcoin flag out in this area and then expand to the upside? Guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Bitcoin at the end of the day is definitely causing a bit of a stir. We have a lot of people right now very emotional about what's happening here with Bitcoin, because we see that altcoins are reacting heavily. Why? Because this could be very risky for alts. Especially, number one, if you got in towards the tail end of this rally up, right? Buying tops on altcoins. When Bitcoin hit its top, did you buy altcoins? That's a bit of an issue, obviously. If you basically have some severe profit, you're obviously emotional because you don't want to give your profits back, and you should be de-risking. And this is what I think is happening at this current moment, because you have to understand, guys, out of everybody that's out on the market, do you not think that some people are going to take profit here? Do you think they're all just going to hold? The reality is the diagonal support or the diagonal resistance is right here. Do you not think that some people out there, some people that hold Bitcoin are not going to take profit? Of course they will be taking profit, guys. So this is what we're seeing, a bit of profit taking. Now, if I want to be convinced that it's going to be a full-on rollover, guys, I need to see another top. I need to see a bullish response. I don't believe that the bulls are done yet with one touch. I expect this retracement. I expect this reaction. Let's call it a reaction right here. I couldn't have made this red arrow any bigger than this a while back, guys, when I gave you guys that Bitcoin update. Ultimately, this could be a sell-off before we see some sort of it could even be a bull flag. It could be some sort of dip. Maybe come down to about 65,500 more or less, and then get another reaction. I want to see another top. So in the meantime, what I am doing here, guys, is being very defensive on my gains. All the top gainers, guys, if you've been following me, I've been buying here. I bought here. I bought here. I bought here, and all of a sudden we are moving. Okay, so that's the reality, and I've been saying this all the time. I only buy bottoms. Now I've been scaling into the altcoin market. My altcoin bags are doing good, but I don't want to give back my gains to the exchange or to the market. So the reality is if I do see a double top, a lower high, or anything like this on Bitcoin, guys, guess what? I'm taking more profit, and I am going to be scaling out of my risky overexposed positions. Okay, so that's the plan. Now in the short term, we go in the 4 hour, you can see, and if I take out the oscillators, we're diverging. We diverged here. We got a bit of follow through already, and I'm going to quickly put a diagonal here on the 4 hour, because this is also very evident. Look at this. Okay, and I know my this right here is a bit of a mess, so I'll get rid of that for now, and I'll make this a bit bigger. You can see that we're hitting a trend line also on the oscillator, the momentum oscillator. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We do see a bearish expansion forming at this current zone. Are we going to call it, short? Basically, look how big this one is, smaller, and this one's even smaller. Are we slowly trending to the upside, where we're going to expect a nice bullish response right now and a massive move to the upside? upside. It could be very possible, right? We do see that the trend oscillator EMAs are facing down, so not a good look. Of course, red histogram bars, not a good look, and a blue expansion to the downside, not a good look. So ultimately, we see that the trend is looking a bit weak. We could come down a little bit more. What about if we get oversold below the 30? I'm expecting it to come down a little bit more, obviously, maybe hitting again 64,500 more or less. That would be a bit of a target in the short term. But what I really like is what's happening here on the 1 hour. And I usually don't get into this lower time frame. Why do I get into this lower time frame today? Is because things are important here. We want to see, remember, this thick white line is the diagonal that I have there on that top that caused this rejection. And you can see as the price is falling right into here, we do see a bit of a structure. And you guys know I like the structures. I want to see structures before I make decisions. And ultimately, we are getting a descending type of structure. While the price action is ascending, momentum is ascending. We're making lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum. And that is class A bullish divergent on the 1 hour, which means that any moment now, if we do not fall through this volume gap, we can definitely get a bounce to the upside. If we fall through the volume gap, again, we're coming down a little bit more, and we can anticipate, another reaction at those lower levels. We're going to take it level by level. As we speak, we're pushing up. Do we break trend, guys? This is what I'm most concerned about, is because if we break trend, it's likely to move to the upside. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be calling this a bear flag, and rightfully so. This is a bear flag. Impulsive move down, consolidation, impulsive move down. However, we're oversold in extreme ways, bullish divergence, and if we look at the trend oscillator, bullish divergence also on trend, EMAs are facing up with green histogram bars on the 1 hour. So if Bitcoin gets a bounce, you can expect that the altcoin market will also bounce with Bitcoin, and it would be a very healthy recovery. But again, guys, I have no choice but to get back onto the daily and say, this is super important, right? We need to close daily candles above. We need to reclaim previous price action. We need to see some strength in this market. It doesn't mean that we have to break out, in any sense of urgency, but the reality is we can't keep on making lower lows here on lower time frames, or else things are going to start to look really bad. Even breaking above this high or breaking above the trend and consolidating or back testing, let's do something bullish here for the market. I think we've earned a bit of price action to the upside, given the fact that we've been going sideways for over 200 days within this structure. Okay, so keep that in mind. And before we move on to AVAX, keep this in mind, guys. Rounded bottom, flag, cup and handle. This is what we're waiting for, a breakout of this structure. Guys, be careful out there getting super bearish, okay? It's better to be neutral and obviously protect your gains and all of that, but obviously keep this big picture because you don't want to miss out on the train when it leaves the station out of this cup and handle. All right, guys, let's take a look at AVAX. But before we look at the chart, guys, I want to show you something. Bullish news for AVAX. New AVALANCHE AVAX launches a Visa card for crypto payments. We're seeing bit by bit a lot of the layer ones, a lot of the new crypto, a lot of the crypto projects in general, teaming up with Visa, MasterCard, and so on, integrating some sort of solution to make life easy when we're dealing with crypto. And it's a bit of a trend that I'm expecting to increase over time, given the fact that a lot of us are getting involved in the crypto space, and a lot of us are feeling the heat with regards to not being able to be free to use our crypto in everyday life. And of course, if there's a problem and there's a solution, there's always, of course, money to be made. And Visa identifies the opportunity to get involved with a lot of crypto projects, and it could definitely provide solutions to our problems, which is being able to, actively transact in the everyday life with our cryptocurrency. So good stuff for AVAX. Now, is this enough to give it a bullish catalyst? Let's take a look at the price action quick. We'll get right into AVAX right here. You can see that AVAX is still in that retracement, and I know my charts is a bit of a mess, so we'll try to make sense of it. Now, I don't delete my old TA. I feel like it's a good way of record keeping for myself, for my strategy, obviously for you guys, so that you guys can see where we came from and what we've accomplished and where we scaled in previously. And you can see that, yes, this dip is great, but obviously taking profit here was better. Okay, obviously buying in and taking profit. Now that we're at these levels, green arrow, both of these levels are great levels, DCA zones, and as you can see, the price action definitely is being respected here. And this is why I keep all my charts the way they are. I don't like modifying my lines or any of my indications or anything like that. I want to keep myself accountable. I want to keep the strategy accountable, almost like record keeping. Okay, this is my journal, in other words. So what we do see is an inverse type of structure. And now it does look very inverse head and shoulder like, okay? Now I know it's not the cleanest, and I'm not the type of trader that looks for, you know, perfect patterns, because the reality is it doesn't matter. What matters here is that we are slowly changing direction in the trend. We had a descending wedge, we made some lower lows, and then all of a sudden we made a higher low and we made a higher high. Guys, are we gonna make a change of direction here where this is considered a pivot point structure from bearish to bullish, from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows? Very possible. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to happen today, and that's the reality. I came to that conclusion. What could happen here is that we do see the price even fall rollover. It could happen. It could happen that we roll over, and as long as we make a higher low higher than this one, guys, we're still good. In fact, that's super bullish. What I like is this shoulder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be neat here, and I know it's very hard. I'm going to be neat as possible, and I'm going to, you know, kind of reuse this as well if I can, and maybe not. Technical difficulties here, and we can see that this, let's get rid of that noise and let's reuse this. Okay, so we can see that we got this happening. Now, could we come down and produce something else, like, you know, something like right into here? It's very possible. I would have liked this to be a little bit higher, but you know what, it's still fine because this had very low volume. This might have been just a liquidity hunt, a quick sweep of the highs. You get what I mean. So ultimately, I kind of like this level, and we got to keep an eye on it. So if we can come down even for a right shoulder head, shoulder, head, shoulder, epic, confirmation low, higher low. But it doesn't mean that this thing can continue going to the upside. Okay, that's the reality. And we have to start getting used to buying into bull flags. It can't be always deep retracements, 886 retracements. That's not going to happen as often in a bull run. Right, and we can see that generally speaking, this would be an ideal place to see AVAX roll to the upside with a nice drip upwards, you know, a slow melt upwards above the 200 daily. You can see the 200 daily currently is a battlefield. You can see the orange line, it's a battlefield. Like, do we actually break to the upside, or do we roll over here? So let's look at some indicators first, and then we'll kind of look at our setup. You look at the divergence, guys. So we can see that we got class A bullish divergence right into follow through right here, class B bullish divergence, and then little by little follow through, and we didn't get it even severely overbought yet. You can see as the oscillator is moving to the upside, we didn't get severely overbought, which gives us an opportunity. As you note here, we got severely overbought above the 70. Did we get above 70 here in the follow through? No. And we can see that the momentum is still trending to the upside, so could we get to the 70? Absolutely. So what I would say is this: if volatility happens to come down, which is the orange line, you know, it's in your favor to start longing the market, because the momentum is trending to the upside, and we like trending momentum. We want trending momentum, and we want to have volatility in our favor with alongside that trending momentum. So longing while this is moving up is the ideal scenario. Okay, so that's the momentum. Momentum is looking okay right now. And if we reflect on what happens every time we got overbought, if you look at last time we got overbought, guys, even like, yeah, back here, or even on this one, guys, that's massive moves to the upside. Okay, huge. So what we really want to see is that to happen right here. Now, if you look at the trend also got a divergence. It tried to invalidate, but guess what, guys? We're still diverging to the upside. The EMAs, the moving averages, you can see right here, starting from about here, slowly grinding to the upside, Could we get into the bullish control zone in a very strong way where eventually we start moving upwards? Guys, we want to see these expansions like we've had here, and expansions to the downside. We want to see purple expansions to the upside now, and that's where we're going to get the major moves on AVAX. And it's very likely that we see a lot of layer ones do this. It's not just going to be AVAX, but AVAX is one of the OGs. It's definitely here to stay. Its retracement is great, and if you look at the daily, back to the daily, and what's going on here, this was the bear market bottom. Right, we ran up significantly. We did very well. Now we're back testing, confirming this low as the absolute low, and we're making a higher low. And we hunted a bit of liquidity. Is it enough? Maybe, most likely. Unless we flag out here and go for a bear flag, then of course I'm concerned. But what about if this becomes a pivot point structure, guys? This is the reality. So again, down into here is where I'm interested, and I'm going to quickly get onto the 4-hour real quickly to show you what kind of structure we're building currently at the moment. This symmetrical type of scenario actually become a pennant where we continue to the upside. Okay, this is another concern of mine, is that we get too comfortable waiting for those massive retracements, and in fact really what we should also be looking for are continuation patterns, whether it be symmetrical triangles, ascending triangles, even flags, bull flags, and all of that. If you have clarity, take a bit of risk. This looks like it could be a continuation to the upside, guys. Given the fact where the market is looking like here on the 4 hour, on the daily, even crypto, a Bitcoin, if the rest of the market decides to show strength, we're going to see AVAX show strength. So be prepared, guys. Obviously, the oscillators at the current moment are not really giving us a major edge. We came overbought. We're stuck in the chop zone. You get what I mean? Oversold, overbought. Maybe we do come oversold and break down a little bit, guys, because we haven't gotten oversold in a bit. So that's one of the indications to me that maybe we do roll over. And if we look at the EMAs right now, EMAs are facing down, red histogram bars, and we're a little bearish divergence right here. So maybe on the 4 hour, we do come down for a bit of a dip. But guys, nonetheless, you know, if you look at what's happening here, we're definitely creating that pivot point structure on the daily, and on the 4 hour, we have clear price data to give us that indication that, you know, maybe if we break trend, we could come down and buy the dips right around $22, maybe a little higher, maybe at about $23, $24. Guys, obviously, I'm going to give you updates along the way. Feel free to join me live. I'm live at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action every single night. And if you have any requests, that is a great time for you to basically make those requests, and I'll definitely put them in top priority. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. I think you should join that Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.